As the number of arrests in connection with the Capitol riots continues to climb, we're seeing a wide array of charges being filed. Everything from curfew violations up to threatening the Speaker of the House. And those arrest numbers are only expected to increase. Joining us tonight to break down the next steps as those cases move through the legal system is criminal defense attorney David Weinstein, partner at Henshaw and Culberton LLP, and former assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Florida. David, thanks again for joining us once again here on News Nation.
You're welcome, Aaron. My pleasure.
So domestic terrorism has been thrown around by politicians and the media, but from a legal perspective, why weren't domestic terrorism charges filed, and could those charges end up coming soon?
Well, the thing about domestic terrorism and the charge itself is it's by definition only. There is no federal crime for committing domestic terrorism. It's used in connection with other charges. For example, we've seen it used in hate crimes cases where they've said that an individual is a domestic terrorist. And it's a way for the Federal Bureau of Investigation to get involved with the investigation itself. But we won't see any charges labeled domestic terrorism. We'll see charges like we've seen here. Anything from breaking into the Capitol building, from threatening the Speaker, as well as one of the individuals is alleged to have participated in potentially the use of a weapon of mass destruction.
David, what will the next several days and weeks look like for those who have already been arrested in connection to the riots?
Well, several of these people have already posted bond and been allowed out of custody. Others are facing detention hearings where they'll be brought before a judge, and the judge will decide whether or not they should be detained pending the resolution of their case. The U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia is continuing to investigate and collect evidence. We may see additional individuals charged. There may be indictments that are brought before grand juries, and people will be charged with conspiring to assist these people as well as aiding and abetting them. So we'll be seeing more arrests potentially, as well as a little bit clearer line of what the actual charges are that will ultimately be filed against these individuals.
A lot of things happening very fast right now, David. How soon could the trials begin for those charged, or is it more likely that these suspects would make a plea before the trial?
Maybe a little bit of both. Some of these individuals are not facing a lot of time in jail under the sentencing guidelines, some as low as less than 6 months. Others are looking at a lot more time based on the severity of the charges. As for how quickly, once charges are filed, they have to be brought to trial within 75 days. So we could see some cases being set for trial as soon as early spring. Some of these cases may resolve before then, and pleas will be handed out.
David, I love following you on Twitter, and you posted a very interesting question that I was not going to ask you, but I plan to ask you now. We're reporting 90 arrests have been made because of this riot, but we saw thousands of people a part of these riots last Wednesday at the Capitol. Why so few? Why not more arrests?
It's simply a matter of volume and numbers. When you look at how few officers were there from the Capitol Police and how many rioters and protesters were there, for starters, not everyone could have been arrested and taken into custody. They were funneling them out of the building. People were scrambling. In addition to that, there needs to be some time to put together the pieces of this investigation. You can't just arrest someone on a mere suspicion. You have to have a reasonable suspicion that they committed the crime and they were involved in more than just being a protester. We saw a lot of people who were both inside and outside of the Capitol building, and law enforcement used a combination of discretion and simply the volume of people who were there in determining who was and who wasn't arrested. We've seen additional arrests occur now over the weekend, and some will be occurring into the beginning of next week, and that's as more people are identified and as law enforcement puts together exactly who was involved, what evidence they have of their involvement. We can expect a lot more people are going to be both questioned about what was going on and potentially taken into custody within the beginning of this week.
David Weinstein, great legal insight. David, thanks.
You're welcome, Aaron. Always glad to help.